Good evening, Town Council members. Let me start by stating, I want to talk about the subject of masks in schools. Let me start by stating what we know. We know that school-age children are not and have never been the drivers of this pandemic. And we know that they rarely get severely ill. We know that the recent spike in cases caused by the Delta variant will subside in a couple of months, because that is what has happened in mostly unvaccinated India, and it's happening right now in mostly vaccinated England. And we know that deaths have not kept pace with the rise in cases, thank God. We also know, though some might argue to what extent, that masks can harm children, physically, socially, mentally. We know that some schools in this nation and some internationally have operated without masking their children and have not had the feared disastrous results we are constantly told will happen. Finally, we know that we didn't know many of these things when the COVID crisis first started, but now we do. Mitigation efforts are supposed to balance risks and benefits. Well, in regard to masks in schools, the risk to children clearly outweighs the benefit. We know this now. So we are obligated by our humanity to stop putting children in harm's way. While school policy normally falls within the scope of the Board of Education, the Town Council has the power of its constituents to make sure those policies don't put children at risk, especially when the potential harm is so wide-ranging. I believe it is incumbent on this council to, at the very least, begin to pressure the Board of Education to remove any mandatory mask policy. And if that fails, I would argue that it falls on this council to use its power to order the Board of Education to do so. We have seen state and federal agencies, in the name of public health, use their power to usurp local government bodies, essentially punching down to impose their will on the populace. It is time for a local government body, in the name of public health, to use its power to impose the will of the populace. It's time for this council to punch up. To sit and wait for the next decree from the state is not an option. It is time to act. Let the world know that you won't sit by and watch Enfield's children be harmed unnecessarily. It is time to unmask our children. Thank you.
Thank you.